recognize. And this usually, I developed this when my training partners and my opponents started to react and then recognize the movement coming. And then I started to say, okay, so I'm going to try to figure out a way that I don't show that I'm going to do, and I'm going to get it anyway. And actually, I used that foot lock. I didn't manage to get the finish, but I felt the foot completely popped. But the opponent was a tough guy, and that was actually in the final of the Worlds 2011, Worlds No Gi, and then I caught that one first, inverted, and then eventually I got the right way, and I finished it off the fight. So I'll share with you guys now. Imagine everything started to be pretty much the same. That could be from the position here. I have the setup coming from this position. That could be from the knee, and it could be from the river, from many other ways. But every time I feel the leg is there, these loops or whatever, if the position is free, if the person, for example, let it go the grip, I can actually pull this way. But if I have my hands coming from this position and I haven't got the hand here, so imagine here he might stuck my hand and I to continue to pass, I might not get it, he's keeping tight, we already studied this position. But that could be, for example, when I don't want to show this. I want to keep the position more in a hug situation. And I hug the hips, I can keep the things really wide over here, I can continue to bring my legs over here, look. He can keep pushing the foot on the hip, and that's when I can bring my other hand into the position. Lock the other arm, and continue to work the same way. And here, the leverage is slightly different, but it pulls really strong. The advantage of pulling inverted comes when this becomes obvious. Having the position here can bring in the opponent a little bit of awareness. But when the position is here, he's no longer thinking about this arm anymore. He can even relax himself. So that's when I go like here, look, one, and bring in. Again, the same way I did with the right one, push it in, I do it with this. Look, push it in and adjust. Now just sit in and get it. I can actually lift my leg up and get it. So the concepts apply exactly the same. The only difference is you're gonna use the leverage from your inverted arm on the other arm. So very, very tricky. As I said, it will happen, this position will always happen whenever your opponent has this leg using to defend against your passes, or when the person is using the leg close to your chest in order to do the lasso and things like that. So imagine you can even take your game, just play around with your jiu-jitsu, and you will be able to see many different other positions that I'm mentioning right now that the foot ends up there. Passing over here, I see I'm crushing to the side, my opponent doesn't let me crush, he pushes away, on the way out, the position is there. Boom, I can get the situation. So just use your game. You will see that many other positions will happen from understanding that whenever this is connected to your body, there's always a way that you can get a foot lock, either with this hand or the other hand, and you can get a really good angle. So respecting the concepts of using your hips and your angles to back it up. So remember, this is not good. I have to make sure the angles are more in so I can get the rotation. So that same thing happens with the opposite arm. So you got the position and you get it by turning inside. Okay, so let's see this again. Let's say we're gonna be bringing a new perspective here. So we are passing the situation, I bring it to the side, I hug it instead, and I started to control, that's it. He doesn't like, he pushed the foot on the hip, I started to kind of bring the fight to the side. Look, make sure his hips are coming down, that's it. When I do this position, I actually drive my hips on the side of his leg when he's about to be crushed. So what does he do? He wants to bring this leg back and push me out. So whenever he's bringing this leg back, look, I already catch the position. So here, look, I can pull it. And again, I can get that angle a little better by lifting my legs up. Being on my feet gives me more leverage. So here, the maximum that probably happened is a little bit soreness on his foot, but he has his hips can shoot up, and it makes it harder for me to finish. So again, as I'm pulling, I can go 1 and 2 and continue to pull. So again, just play around to see whenever you are too obvious with this, take that one out of the game, create a pressure to pass. When you see it over here, look, I crushed one side, it comes back, look. And I hook it up. And then again, 1, 2, continue to push. So as you can see, I used my hips against his leg to make him really think that he was getting crushed. And then he's gonna try to force the way out a little bit, and that gives me the coming back. So when I come back with the opposite arm instead, because that's how I like to do things. I usually use the rotation of my body to feed from the movement. So if I try to go there, imagine here, guys, so if I am here, try to get this too much, or trying to go straight in, it's pretty much centered. So if my body has a rotation on one side, and then it's gonna come back outside, look, I use that push to, look, mind your foot, yeah. As it's coming back, look, that gives me a biting point. So I try to be very sensitive to the angles of my body. So as I'm turning in here, look, got the situation, pull the foot. The position the person took the foot out, don't worry, you're back to safe, even if you missed a few. So that's give you a window for you to play around. So I really like to bring surprise. So this usually I do when it's too obvious, then I switch around. This usually happens a lot in training. So now, we all understand how berimbolo is so popular, you know, in the jiu-jitsu scenario right nowadays. And obviously it's a very tricky position to be engaged on. But a lot of the times that I get in berimbolo, and I noticed that the foot is always there. And by the sake of the position, a lot of the times whoever goes to the foot and that gets the back taken and things like that. But I believe that the reason why they get the back taken is because of the timing of they go to the foot lock. Maybe they go to the foot lock when the position is already engaged underneath your hip. So the more you go to the foot, the more you give your back. So I discovered a way with the Estima lock to hold it up. So imagine here, one of the big keys about having the berimbolo defenses are controlling the outside, the leg, so the person doesn't really engage. And I also understand that he can continue to roll by having the knee rotating inside. So please, Cole, can you go? Whenever he goes, the more he goes with the knee, the more he's gone. That's it, it's over. So the way I see it, when he's engaging to go for that position, as he reaches for my hip, I lock the knee a little bit with my hand. That's when it delays a little bit the process of his roll. So as he goes again, look again, he's going for my hand, look, it locks a little bit, and then my hand can continue to press down a little bit to lock. As I lock, now he even can grab my hips, he can go all the way, because now I can just sit back with him. Look at this. With the leg right here, look, I just stop for a sec, so I can show the angle, I really go over the leg. Now, if the opponent, let's say the foot didn't tap, it's really tricky, he continued to roll. Make sure that you don't let the person engage underneath you, so I continue to stretch myself down. So here is very important that I let it go. Can you please go next time? Keep your grips nice and tight so we can discuss about the ending part. This way. So again, stop and engage. Sit back. If you continue to go, just continue to lock the hip here. So if you lost the hip, you started to lose the berimbolo. So therefore, I will let it go everything. If I lost the foot lock, grab it and start to open up and rotate underneath without giving the leg away. See that, please? Upside down. So here, sometimes they're gonna trap my leg with this leg. Strap me here. That's it. So here, that's when the position is really stuck. When your opponent has his leg trapping your other leg. So then I'll make sure I keep that away. He has my hip, he's gonna come inside, and I stretch my legs and roll back inside. So here, I can continue at least to defend myself, but I just go into this position whenever the person is already engaged, the grips to the berimbolo is already gone, I miss the time to stop the leg, at least what I can do is delay. Delay, grab the foot and roll back. So that happens to me in the past, and I was able to succeed with the foot lock. But again, if your foot is not engaged on your belly, you might have a good chance to lose the foot lock. So make sure that once you bring the hind inside, you really press his foot against your stomach. And then when it's there, I haven't missed one. I only miss when I miss the foot there, when I didn't put the foot right in the center. So I'll show one more time. Here, look. That's the part. He's going here for the position we're playing. He's going for the grab. Stop the knee, and I grab it. See, this is the moment that once I press it in the foot, see? And I grab it. Now, his foot, look what it is. He's right in the middle of my stomach. If the foot is here, then I make sure that I'm a bit in trouble. I cannot let that happen because the opponent then is going to start rolling, and then I'm late. So here is about big battle to get out of this one because of the grips that he has. So make sure the foot is right there stuck on your stomach. One more time. So he's gonna go, delay and engage. See, grip, get grip. Well, as he's going with his head, look how this stops a little bit, and what gets is a lot of the foot. Pull back in, and you got the foot lock. So here, one more detail about the bedding ball is very important to understand that's when the opponent comes to the bedding ball with the arm inside, that's the way I prefer to attack the foot lock. That's when he's engaging, going for the belt. That's when I can delay a little bit, and there's no leg stopping my backside leg, because then that leg can move to the right position as a delay, and look, and he can't reach it anymore. When the person has the arm outside and he hugs it deep and gives me with the hips a lot more leverage to reach my backside of the leg, which gives me no angle to go for the foot lock whatsoever. So I should be really much more concerned to defend the bedding ball than attacking the foot. So very important detail there for you to don't try it just anyhow. Make sure that usually that happens when I go from there. And you will see it that some people will be able to shoot their hips, but I can delay it. Catch it, it's delayed to the leg as I'm already moving. So that foot lock is already gone. Now we're gonna look into the perspective when the opponent goes on the inside with the kiss of the dragon. So imagine here, your opponent is right there. He's gonna start to go in the side of your leg, start to roll to catch the underneath here, okay? One of the things I gotta do before he engages the position is that he cannot roll underneath me. So as he's rolling inside, he usually reaches my second leg here, see that? So that's what he usually tries to do. When he rolls inside, I'm already bringing the foot to the right position. But that is a little gap here that I want you guys to recognize, that as he's coming with this leg here, I want to throw my leg right there, rolling to the inside here, look. As I step this through, the position gets really powerful. So it kind of works in my favor for the reason that he wants to go inside of that leg. I have to make sure that my leg will go with him too, but really underneath the knee line. Okay, so let's see that again. Once we're here and my opponent is about to set up, one of the things that we know that he wants so bad is to catch my leg. Okay, and he wants my leg and rotate the hips as he can shut it down, bring this knee really inside and bring my body forward. So, as you can see here, that's something in common. What I really want to do is to grab hold of the foot as you go inside, but make sure that this is the gap that I want to use. I want to, as he wants to catch my leg, usually he puts the pressure that way. But that's exactly what I want to do. I want to make sure I put the leg through, but I land on the side, like cutting across over his head. I know he wants to come inside of my legs, but I make sure I sit with the hips rotated. And now I get the position right straight. So, as you can see here, what I'm doing, I'm not just holding the position and stepping over. What I'm doing is just sitting to that angle, completely cutting across his hips and over his head. And that's when the angle gets so strong on the foot. So See that again, slowly. As it's here, you want to go inside and roll in. So that's when the foot is right there. Okay? The foot is right here, but then there's no angle because he's already switched the hips. He's already rolling. So what I'm going to do is, as he goes, I cut landing on the other side. And that's when it goes really powerful. Because I'm respecting the same concept to avoid the rotation of his hips. This leg over the top avoids the turn of his hips, locking so I can go free on the foot. So that's the way I would do it, the same for the other side, but I would use the other leg. But at this time, he's already rolling, so his head is right underneath me, gives me the angle to shoot my leg, my opposite leg through. So this is, I believe, a very effective position, especially if you time it the moment that he's rolling inside of your leg. Okay guys, now I would like to finalize a little bit more about the finishes of the cymbal lock is we're going to look at that bottom position. It's not very something that it can happen very often, but it's because it's harder to apply the cymbal lock when you're on your back, of course, because the guy has the feet planted on the ground. But there are a few situations that your opponent will try to get some sort of passes and they will lean the knee down where it makes the foot a little lighter on the ground. Therefore you can induce his foot to the middle of your stomach. So I can figure something out for you here. So as you can see, when we have the single leg X guard, for example, when you come inside here, you catch the leg inside. So we have the hook over here, nice and tight. My opponent, a lot of the times, he wants to clear that foot and starting to put the pressure down that knee here. So this is a bad position for me, but it happens that I have hugged his foot here. But look at this. Once he's trying to pop this off and I'm gonna try to pull him on the side a little bit. And I know once he gets off balance a little bit here, one of the big things about him trying to stay on the top is to keep putting his weight forward on me. So whenever he's trying to push his weight forward, I can continue to bring myself up, but now I'm going to bring his foot a little bit above my belt line where I'm going to hug his foot. As this is happening, I will now have the pressure. Even if he comes back on me, it's hard for him to keep hold of the foot because it's not hurting him. But one of the things I would do to stop him from coming to the top is to push my knee to his leg, creating him to fall where I started to roll. Look. Over the leg on the inside. Now I can even use my both hands or even one hand. Now look, pulling myself up. So now his foot here is in exactly the same position where his toes are stuck on my stomach, and now I can pull it off. It's just by pulling this off, you can feel the tension there. So again, if you see here, it's very important that once I'm here, once he's trying to crush, I will go with the flow. Look, go. I go with him, creating the sweep possibility. And I know he will try to come back to me. That's when I kind of look, help with my hand and grab hold of the foot. He will try to come back into me, and I continue to push myself forward with the knee. So that's already locking the foot. And if I feel I need more leverage, I will grab hold of my collar, hand on the ground, and pull it up. And you got a very tight position over there. Basically, to finalize our training with the cymbal lock, with the foot lock, I would like to show you guys how can the setup of the foot lock leads to a good position. Sometimes we are basically trying to get a position to get a finish, but now we're going to invert a little bit. We're going to go for the position to to go for the lock, to the finish, for the position. Okay? So imagine here we were in a original way, the very first one. Every time I set up the foot lock here, that makes my opponent turn in. This is him trying to be sneaky, trying to lock inside. So if I get here, I can finish the foot lock. But if I feel like the foot lock's not gonna be effective enough, it's gonna roll inside as it goes, I realize it turns too much, I let it go. I will bring the leg down, stepping out, and drop my weight in. So therefore I can crush a little bit, stepping out, and getting the pass. So one more time. So I got the position, he's gonna go and make the grip already here, when I realize I'm missing. And now I make sure that he's gonna try to come inside of my leg. I do this, look, step, and hug the leg inside. Lock the head, nice and tight, and circle out. So then I can get a pass. Even if I don't get the full pass sometimes, you're gonna get the person to be reading the backside, having to react. The same way would be from this position. I'm gonna go for the foot locking rolls, hold it down, look, you already got the person's hip up, he's gonna try to go underneath me, look, I can lock the legs down, and start to pass with the legs crushed over here. So this again, it could be led to pass. So you can see, taking advantage of the rotation of the hips will allow you to get a pretty advanced position on the pass. While he's trying to roll, you're already landing on the top of the side. And I'll tell you something, sometimes my opponent's not gonna just roll into a situation like this. Maybe he will try to really, when I'm coming up, it's gonna, not like this, this time you're gonna lift your hips up. As I'm coming in, now roll. Look, pull that down, again, circle back into the hip, forcing his bum to touch the ground again. And then from here, I'm really gonna get the pass. So do that. So, as you can probably see, the natural thing of your opponent to do to defend is to circle. Take advantage of the circle to maybe get their backs, maybe to get the pass crushing, or maybe put him in a bad position on the side, where the legs are curled together. So just don't allow your opponent to really continue to fulfill that role. You gotta recognize when the foot lock is a possibility, when the foot lock is no longer a possibility. And usually this is determined by how he turns and how far did he go. So remember, if I got the foot and I'm able to stop the roll of my hip, that's done foot lock. So as I have the position here, my opponent a lot of the times already reacting here. See, the turn is already going because he realizes he's in danger. And then he turns, he grabs my grip, look, push the leg down, hug the hip before he lifts the hips up. Therefore, use my head up down so I can stretch him down here. Look, continue to push the legs, circle out, and you get a pass. I've got a nice control here from the foot lock position where he overcommitted his back a little bit, his side, so I could get a pass. Okay, everybody, we're here on this video looking to show you like a bonus position, and this is something that I've been working on lately. It's basically more of a concept for you guys to really think about and develop this to a further level. Imagine here when your opponent is standing and he's looking to pass your guard. The first thing he really wants to do is to engage with you. And for him to engage with you, he has a few ways. Maybe he wants to push my shoulders, maybe he wants to grab my legs and lift. So what I'm going to do here, as he's reaching for my grips, I stop the hands. So I constantly using my hands to stop him, because I know he wants to connect. If I have to shove forward, I will, to make sure I can restart the connection. So as he's coming for me, look again, I push, but I know it's the common thing. I'm pushing, fighting, and he wants to get a grip. And as soon as somebody gets hold of my grips, I make sure that I push his arms. But I know that this is not enough to stop him trying it. He really definitely gonna try. And then I keep making sure my arms, I push his arms, and he will push the weight to go for the pass. When he's gonna go for the toreando, the thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna maintain my arm towards the side he's coming, straight. So whenever I do this, that makes it harder for him to continue to go, and I will continue to pull his tricep to the other side. Basically turning his shoulder to the opposite direction. When I feel that shoulder turn, I know that his angle is gonna be off. I'm just gonna let it go, my hand on the ground, and I will hip escape, and I will continue to help him push himself down. As he loses balance, I follow up my weight, end up on the side control or on his back, depending how does that finish. But I will explain to you a little bit more about it in a way how I think. So I know for a fact, once he engages, he wants to go for the pass. So when he finishes the toreando pass, the bullfighting pass, so he will come to the side, and his shoulder needs to rotate this way as he continues to pass. So what I'm going to do is to divert the his shoulder angles to the opposite way, making him